Welcome to the Tank Hub guide for normal Hellfire Ramparts. In this video, I'm going to take you through the normal version of Hellfire Ramparts, which is the first dungeon that you will encounter in Outlands. The footage was recorded on the Karazhan server, hosted by Atlantis. I initially tanked this as a level 60 Dwarf Protection Paladin, wearing some Outland greens which I purchased off the Age. The footage you will see here has me tanking it as a level 61, wearing those greens, and a couple of drops which I got in the dungeon. Namely the Iron Soul Clompers and the Light Touch Breastplate. As you can expect, this dungeon is very easy. In my opinion, there is only one pull that can wipe you, which will be shown after I go over the gear. Now let's go over that gear. This dungeon can drop 3 pieces of plate. If you are a protection warrior, 2 of the 3 items are pretty good depending on whether or not you like defense as a stat for tanking pre-heroics. Prot Paladins will like all 3 pieces. First, we will discuss the more Pally-specific piece of plate dropped by Watchkeeper Golgomar, namely the Light Touch Breastplate. This item will give you strength, stamina, and intellect, in addition to 3 sockets with a spell damage modifier if you gem correctly. I definitely did not mind the intellect on this chest, because in my greens, my mana pool was pretty small. Next we have the Tenacious Defender, which Omar the Unstarred can drop. Despite its name, it offers 0 defensive stats. Instead, it will give you strength, agility, and stamina, as well as 2 red sockets. This is a great piece of DPS plate. Lastly, we have the Ironside Clompers, which drop off as Rudin. They will give you strength, stamina, and defense, as well as both a red and blue socket. This dungeon does offer some decent 2-handers for your off-spec, but we won't be covering those in this guide. Alright, we're going to do this commentary style, as far as going over what's going on. So, this first pull here, nothing's dangerous. You can get rid of all 3. If you have a decent group, you'll have no problem. You are going to want to get that Ravener. You want to do him first, although nothing here is ultimately that damaging. One of the nice things about when you record yourself, you can actually see all the things you do wrong. And as someone who's new to Paladin tanking, I do a lot wrong. Anyway, so we're just going to clean up this 3-pack, and then we're going to continue across the bridge. Yeah, my main goal as a beginner Paladin here is trying to keep that, trying to keep my shield up as much as possible when I'm taking damage, and then I'm really working on carrying mana over from fight to fight right now. Alright. Next pull, you want to fight these guys on the bridge. I've had issues where I end up pulling the other group if I get too close to the end of the bridge. And I think I end up getting another pat anyway, somehow. Not sure if that's this pull. But anyway, just grab 1, mark 1. I have a mouse over macro that I use to assign skull, makes my life easy. If you guys want, leave a comment, I'll try and share it. Probably won't work on Classic, by the way. This is a TBC server that you're seeing here. This is Atlantis. I'm sorry, Atlantis is Karazhan server. Now it's funny, the threat that a Shadow Priest does is crazy, and they never take the threat reducing talents. And you can see in my head I'm struggling. I really want to give him salve, but I'll give him another pull or 2. Here we have our first dangerous mob. The Destroyers are going to put a Mortal Strike on you, so you really want to take them out first. You can see I'm going to mark him with a skull. The other thing here that you want to do is you want to tank the rest of the guys away from your raid. Now you can see, because of where I put these guys, either my mobs or my rogue was pulled this other patch. That's not good, obviously. what I should have done now at this point is probably mark the dogs to be killed after the destroyer. We got the destroyer down. That's the main portion, the main problem with this problem mob. But as you can see here, I'm in full panic mode. Oh my god, I got extra mobs. So I'm just trying, like I'm tab targeting like I'm a freaking warrior. But everyone does their job. We're able to recover. Again, you technically want to keep the archers faced away from your raid because they do a multi-shot as well as a like an aim shot. Next mob, these next couple packs, you're going to see we have a lot of destroyers. You want to, again, take those destroyers out first because they perform that Mortal Strike ability. And you're going to see me here. I'm going to consecrate because I got no patience early. And then I'm waiting for them to come to me, but they're not coming to me because the Warlock pet charged because I'm a bad Paladin. So now I'm freaking out again. But we're going to recover this. We'll use our taunt. There you go. And hopefully we'll be able to kill this this destroyer. Again, my gear is horrible, and I am too also a horrible Paladin. So you're not doing this to learn how to play Paladin. You're just looking at this to get an idea, get a feel for Hellfire Ramparts. So once again, taking the archers. I've got no mana because I've got horrible gear. Hopefully I won't lose him on threat because I have nothing to get him back with. All right. Yeah, the one thing I found being new to Paladin, as I've tanked as a warrior and other expansions, is on the one hand, you want to go balls to the wall and generate as much threat as possible. But it's almost like, it's not like pooling rage, because your rage kind of decays. But with the Paladin, man, you've really got to figure out, all right, do I have enough to get to the end of the fight? All right, you're going to see here, again, we got a Destroyer, and he's going to be our first target. And I think this pull goes a little better. I think we'll get a better consecrate down. Nope, too early again. And I don't have a seal up. Okay, there we go. We got our seal up. At this point, I'll be consecrating on cooldown, I think. And I'm just basically going through tab targeting, trying to make sure I get everyone on me. I probably thought that Warlock's pet was a mob going for a healer. But I probably could, well, ideally you want to do a better job where they're more facing you, so they're not facing the raid as much. But that's just my poor pull. Actually, my poor use of consecrate. All right. I used too much mana, so I definitely need a drink here. We have our first pre-planned pull. We saw these dogs earlier in that botched pull, but now things are going to be calmed down. So whenever you can, you want to take these dogs out first. They do a lot of damage. They attack kind of fast. So you always want to have them go down first. So you just do a corner pull, drop your consecration. Thankfully, our DPS let us get them in place this time. I gotta do a better job of just basically turning everything around. But I was really nervous about seeing Pats, and I hate spinning my camera. Again, we're more worried about the dogs. The hunger is not so much. We'll be fine with them. Again, you can see I don't have a seal up. That's that red hammer is in the middle of the screen. Gotta do a better job of keeping that up. At this point, I should not use any more resources because I think I have a decent threat lead. Good, I didn't. Perfect. All right, next Pat, we have a Ripper, and he's our primary kill target. And then there's a whole bunch of casters, 3, I think. It's a pain in the butt because I have no interrupt on the casters. I should have gotten some help, or I should have asked for help, I guess. But the casters aren't going to do that much damage. The Ripper hits hard, so you want to make sure he dies first. Again, I don't have a seal up because I'm a bad Paladin. And if I'm running around, I was going to invest my Hodge into him, which I did. And at this point, I got decent threat on 2 of the 3, I believe. Now, the pull I mentioned that can wipe your group easily. It's actually the only difficult pull in this instance is coming up. And it's just timing. All right, so if you see at the top of your screen, you see that Pat walking in with the 2 dogs. What you want to do is you want to start this next pull when they get past that crack by my sword. Because once they get past there, or a little bit farther, you'll see where I pull it. Maybe it's that next crack. Yeah, once they cross that next crack, now you pull. If you pull too early, obviously you're going to get them. But if you wait too long, as you still have mobs up, they're going to be padding back again, and they join in. And then as you can see here, I almost die. I think I might have even bubbled and then canceled it just because I was getting destroyed by the 2 destroyers. I mean, it's just rough. If you're quick on the draw, you can bubble out of the Mortal Strike and then just cancel it and get back to what you got to do. But you can see here, I'm just, A, with the destroyers, you want to tank them with your back against the wall, which I'm not doing. And B, you want them to die fast. Probably should have labeled one to get focus fire down. I need to create macros to mouse over and mark everything else, but I haven't done those yet. They're coming. Because I think if I was able to just get Skull X, it probably would have been an easier pull. If they split DPS, it's a lot of damage because nothing dies quickly. Another dog pack, and again, we went over these. Dogs die first, so just mark a dog, and you should be good to go. These are easy to tank. There's no hard pulls. There's no really hard pulls left in the dungeon at this point. As you can see here, again, you want to keep your righteousness up, or whatever seal you're using. Right now, that's all I got really for tanking. And here I am, thinking, getting all cocky. And I'm like, oh, I got all the threat I want. I'll go, talk to the group. No, you're an idiot. This guy just ran off. You're not holding threat. All right. Next pull, there's going to be a destroyer hiding off in the side. You want to take him out. He's got to go first. The destroyer is always first, right? So as you can see, I went up a little too far. And I got the hunger. I wanted to get the shield on those casters just so that I'd have some threat. As you can see, again, I'm just getting destroyed because I got that Mortal Strike on me. You want to make sure you get your shield up. I'm going to get Righteous Defender up me soon because I'm going to less than 35%. But as you can see here, I'm just running around down to a hunger. At this point, we're fine. Mortal Strike is off us. We're good to go. Going to try and corral these casters a little bit as a Paladin. Don't really have that much. This isn't Wrath where you can just use your shield to interrupt, which is interesting. Your Paladin, you basically only interrupt until if you're Blood Elf, you have your Rachel. But as a Dwarf, your Hodge, it's basically your Hammer of Justice is all you got. So we're going to clean up this Pat. And at this point in the dungeon, you want to start being mindful of where your first boss is. Your first boss has a pretty wide patrol range, so what you're going to want to do, and I don't do it here, I should have, go ahead, mark him with a green, explain to the group, I'm just keeping an eye on this guy. Your next couple of pulls, you're going to want to basically pull back a little bit from where everyone is right now. You don't want to fight up by those dogs. You can see him, he just walked in the left part of the screen. You don't want to be fighting, I would say, up by that destroyer in the top right. Just because if you're fighting up there and the boss comes, you are going to aggro him. So what you're going to see here, the next couple pulls, I'm going to pull everything back towards me. And you can see there, took the dog down. At this point, I'm thinking I have enough aggro. And of course I don't. Bad Paladin. But we're still getting used to it. And just, there he goes again. I'm still having an issue as a Paladin tank. I'm wondering, I got to do a better job of seeing when something is lost control. So that might have been a death coil and not me losing threat. All right, so that first pack is down. I'm going to pull the second one. Again, there's a destroyer here. We're going to mark him first. And you can see I'm starting to look for that other, for that boss. I didn't see him, so I'm just going to pull him back. If you've got a good shaman who's going to interrupt casts, he's going to be handy in the next amount of kills. Because whenever you have a shaman that can actually interrupt a cast and pull him back, which I think he did there, it helps things out. Anyway, so standard AoE threat, dropping my consecrate, keeping up my shield. You can't see it here, but my consecrate macro has a shift modifier. The shift modifier is a full, I think at this point I'm like rank 5 or something consecrate, whereas without the shift modifier it's by rank 1. By default I just spam rank 1 because I go easily, and it's been working fine. I haven't really I very rarely do the full consecrate. Maybe that's why I'm losing threat on some things, but I'm trying to balance out maintaining threat with not having to stop and drink every pull, which is annoying. Maybe I should taunt this guy. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to pull this last pack. I'm not sure if you have to get them. Just to be safe, I grab them. So I think it's 2 more dogs up there. I think I might get that one or another, but that's one of the next pulls. And as you can see, I'm waiting. I want to see this guy before I move out. I'm going to grab this straggler in the middle. I think I pull the dogs next, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm just going to face pull him, which is dumb because he's a Ravener and he stunned me. So it would have been real easy to lose threat. All right. So now I'm going to get this other Ravener, and he comes by himself. Doesn't bring the group. Got the kidney shot, and he comes back to me. Now, I'm not sure if the kidney shot is a threat dump or if he just a momentary threat dump while you're incapacitated. But I'll probably play around with that some more. I'm just curious. This next pat, you got a destroyer, and you can see now I'm looking at that boss because I do not want. If I pull now, I'm going to bring the boss, and it's going to be a wipe. So be patient. Let him walk by. What I really should have done is I should have marked him with like the green triangle or something of that nature, just to keep a better eye on him. But I'm afraid sometimes of marking in pugs that they're gonna pull or think that's part of the kill order, even though you never see triangle unless like you've got 5 mobs. It's always skull, X, and then usually blue for CC. Anyway, so I think I go after the dogs next. No, I'm going to try and shield them. So I got a good shield on there. Sometimes it can be difficult to get your shield. I usually have line of sight issues by those barrels, which is a pain in the ass. And as you can see, I'm running all the way back. You really want to do whatever you can to get those casters as far forward as possible. They're in a good spot there, but if they were about 2 cracks back on the ground there, would pull the boss on the pat. Now you can see we're just killing things as quick as possible. I've got no interrupts, so I'm just kind of slapping some people around. Hide just on cooldown. I mean, it's what you do as far as casters go. I can't, really interrupt. Interrupts are nice. You miss them. Alright. I'm going to finish this guy up. Now I believe I do the dog pack next, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I wanted to go for it. I'm not sure if you need that dog pack. If I always do it just to be safe, I'm pretty sure you do. I probably would have pulled them. But anyway, here we have the real simple pack before the boss. A couple dogs. We're gonna make sure we pull them. Again, just mark the one dog. He's got to die quick. You don't want them. Too many of them. Good drop consecrate. Fight in the consecrate. Should be good to go. And the dogs go down quickly. It's just that when you leave them up, they do a little bit of damage. So I'm going to take them out first. Ravener. They got kidneyed yet? No. Shocking. Oh, there you go. There's a kidney. Yeah, that's one of those things when you're fighting the Raveners, you usually just want to save your taunt for the kidney. This makes you feel better when he comes right back to you. At this point, you got your first boss, and what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to mark his healers. They have to die first, or they should die first. He hits pretty hard. Um, his two little minions there don't do much, so you're just going to end up tanking the boss. Don't worry about losing threat on those two. I don't even know if they do anything damaging. I think they just buff him. So you can see there he comes to that one crack in the ground. Throw your shield or do your range pull. You're good to go. Now, he is always Garglemar is always going to charge random people. You're not losing threat. I mean, if you look at my threat, I've got a huge threat lead. It's just he randomly charges, so don't freak out. He does hit hard though, so you'll make sure you keep your defenses up. But at this point, if I was a good Paladin tank, I would start going into resource conservation mode. Let's see if I drop a consecration, which would be wasted at this point. Nope. Yeah, mortal wound is stacked up to 3. I think it stacks up to 10. I can't imagine getting 10 of them. It might have happened back in the day when people were terrible at doing damage, but yeah, usually around 3 or 4. Okay. At this point, you've taken care of all the notable mobs, and now you can just get yourself down to the next portion. So you have one more pull left before you go through the door. It's a really simple pull, 2 mobs, and you don't have to kill the rest of the guys down here. You can ask your group. I mean, if they're farming rep, there's nothing too hard. But at this point, you can feel free to just go through that door. Now, the pull at the top of the stairs that we're going to see next is a little bit different, a little bit more difficult. And it's not difficult from a tanking standpoint, although maybe I'm just not doing enough threat. It seems like it's a lot of healing going out. Again, hungerers really don't do that much damage, not worried. But the next pull's the pain in the butt. I really got to start putting target of target in my party because I think the warlock didn't attack anything that was marked the whole night, at least for the whole beginning of the run. They kept having runners, and I'm like, why does this guy have so much threat? All right. Okay, we're going to get to the top of the stairs here, and I believe I'm going to put on my fire aura, just because every time I do this fight, it just seems like there's so much damage. I feel so helpless because I don't have any real interrupts. I usually try and save Hodge for it. So there's going to be a Ripper up there, and they do a lot of damage, so I'm going to go and mark him first. At this point, I probably should put Kings back on, because mana hasn't been too bad, but right now I'm just trying to get decent threat on the Ripper, and then full rank consecrates on the ground here. And I've got decent threat right now. I probably should have marked a focus target or 2. That probably would help us out. As you can see, everyone starts getting low. Rogue almost dies. I mean, there's a lot of damage going out. I'm trying to get off that Shadow Priest again. I should have just gave him salvation the whole match, or the whole run. They do so much threat. Alright, next pull is really easy. I mentioned it before, but when you're tanking these destroyers, you really want to put your back against the wall, because they do knockback. Now here I'm lucky, and I do get knocked back. I get knocked back towards the group, but if I was too far and got knocked back in that pat, it's a wipe. So just get your butt up against the wall, up against some barrels. You'll be fine. You can see I got pretty low there. I gotta make an Ardent Defender power aura. I don't have any working weak auras working in TBC. If anyone has working weak auras that don't fail when you reload the game, leave them in the comments. But right now I'm using Power Orders. I probably should create one for Ardent Defender so I know I'm at 35%. But as you can see, it's an easy pull. The remaining pulls, trash-wise, are easy here. I would say that I probably would tank them a little farther back. Not this patch, or pack rather, but the next two pulls. Probably should do a better job of tanking them a little farther back. But anyway, got some dogs. And again, take them out first. Actually had a good use of mana. I pulled that pack without having a full mana bar. I gauged it enough to be able to figure it out. As you can see there, put back my red aura. I should have done that as soon as I was done with that fire aura pull. I got to work on that a little better. Okay, we got a pack to our right here, and then a pack along the way. There is a destroyer, so we're going to mark him first. I probably got to be a little more careful pulling this one, because I think you can get the guys walking on the stairs, and if you get them, that might be a bad day, just because destroyers with the Mortal Strike, it's going to get on you eventually, and it's not, it makes healing you very difficult. Now, somehow I avoided Mortal Strike with that go-around, but and this is an easy pull. The next one is difficult, but the only reason why, or not difficult, the next one's a pain, only because it's casters in there. And for the life of me, I can never get far enough around to bring all the casters back. They always just stop. I don't know if I'm just not getting enough threat on them. I might, next time I run this, make sure I put the shield on the caster, because maybe that will give me enough threat where they will come around the corner for me. This is one of the ones where I should have done a better job and went back a little bit farther. I thought I could hide here and then have the casters walk into LOS to hit me, and they don't. They just cast AOE on the corner there, so it really didn't do what I wanted it to do. But what you're going to see here is, because I'm so far up, I'm going to get a straggler, and it probably wouldn't have wiped us getting the other pack, but it's a scary moment. That guy just starts walking off. No one else is thank God, whoever that was took him out. I think I judged him. I'd have to rewind it, but it was one of those things where it's another reason why you want to keep your seal up for a quick judge for some snap damage, just in case. I also probably should mess around with Seal of Justice, but alright, this is an easy pull. I go a little too early, so I'm not going to get a clean shield off as much as I want. If you wait just a little bit longer, you'll be able to get shield off before they get to you. But just mark one, tank the others. Now, the pull after this is a joke. It's just two casters. They don't do any damage, so I'll talk a little bit about the boss. I found that if you're a new tank, this could be a pain in the butt. Just because he will randomly, the boss at the end of this will randomly turn around and put a debuff on your party members. So new tanks like me think you're losing threat, you start freaking out. Trust your damage meter. Expect him to turn around. Stay calm. He's tauntable. This isn't, this isn't Blackwing Lair. You're not, this isn't an untauntable boss, right? That you're fine. One thing I like to do is I do like to put up a shadow resist aura on this guy as well, because it does do a little shadow damage. And I will ask my DPS on this boss just to wait for me to get a good consecration down. I don't think they wait for me, by the way, but they should. What I essentially like to do on bosses, if I can, is I want to get a Crusader on him first, judge Crusader so that he takes extra holy damage, and then go from there. Then do a consecrate, and then keep your Seal of the Righteous up. The other thing that's neat too is this guy is a demon, so you are able to use exorcism on him. And I probably should be testing that out to see which ones are actually demons as I go. I just haven't really thought of it, but this one, it was just obvious. Lastly, he's going to have ads if your group sucks. tell one of the people that they are on ad duty, just kill the ads when they come out. You don't want them all running around. I try and keep consecrate down all times, but I always notice that the ads tend to get loose. So, oh, and lastly, he's going to put a debuff that damages people around you. So hopefully, if you have melee DPS, they know to move away from the tank. But anyway, here I am. Again, they didn't wait, but I'm able to get a decent threat lead once I was able to get some strikes in. Got Crusader up on him, so he's going to take extra damage. And now I think I'm just trying to keep Consecrate down. Hound's going down. Nice. I want to pay attention, see where my mana is at the end of this fight, because I think I'm starting to get decent enough mana where I can just do full level Consecrates. I wasn't doing that here. I think I was doing just rank 1s just to get a little bit of threat. That dog got out. And it was probably a wasted Consecrate there, because the dog just left. But as you can see, really easy fight. Damage isn't crazy. Threat is fine. I mean, as long as whenever you're able to exercise on cooldown, you're going to have a good amount of threat there. So now I got all the dogs, which is good. And with plenty of mana. So I think next time I'm going to make sure I do max rank Consecrate, just to make sure I try and keep all those dogs on me. But the belt I wanted dropped. Nice. Right now I have Shadow Aura up, so I'm going to put back my red aura. Let's see if we do that. Or if we're just a bad Paladin who's just going gaga over his level 60 belt that he's going to replace in 4 levels. But right now, he's the coolest thing ever. All right. All right, so next pulls are easy, but be prepared. The encounter with the final boss starts after you kill the last mob of the last pat you're going to see me fight. So it's a good idea to mana up here and maybe mana up again after you kill these 2 mobs. And you're going to see when I fight the last bunch of mobs that I'm thinking about it. I'm worried because I'm judging wisdom on these guys. But yeah, so again, this isn't hard. But you just want to make sure that you have enough mana for that boss fight. So as you can see here, the shaman hasn't drank anything, and I offered him a drink coming in here because I know what's coming. And we're going to see if he drinks it all. All right, so I go, and I'm going to drink. Yep, all right, so I'm drinking. Okay, the healer is too. I must have just taken a ton of damage on the boss because I think the healer almost goes So I'm going to come up here. Again, this is a trivial 2 mobs to kill, but you just want to don't spend too much mana. So I think I've got both Taunt and Hodge up, so I'm like, I'll let him walk on me. I don't mind having a Taunt one back. And then I still have Hodge for the other one if he gets out of hand. I'm not going to spend a ton of mana if I can help it. So right there, I'll just Hodge him probably. Yeah. Okay, now the fight's going to start as soon as this guy dies. So now, all of a sudden, you're going to see a big dragon come in. He's going to drop off his buddy, and you got to fight him. So you want to make sure that you can either taunt him or be smart like I did and actually just judge him to get some snap threat with righteousness. At this point, you want to be keeping an eye out for fire on the ground like that. Move him out. And then also, when this guy gets down to about 30%, the dragon's going to come down. So right there, that was a mistake. I should not have taunted him because now I got no way of getting the dragon back. So if you're a smart tank, save your taunt for that dragon. I could have done a better job on my threat rotation to keep his little walking buddy at bay, but what can you do? At this point, you're going to walk every time he sprays fire on the ground. I'm doing a bad job. I really should keep more put and not walk as much. Make it easier for my DPS to keep doing their rotation. but I'm antsy because I'm low health. At this point, I am almost dead. Okay, there we go. Shaman's picking me up again. But at this point, just keep your defensives up. I really don't have that great a threat lead, but it is what it is. I got taunt if need be. I'm just right now. I'm kind of worried about dying. Even with my fire resistor, I feel like I'm taking a lot of damage. But every time you see the fire, move them just enough so your melee can do what they gotta do. Anyway, that's the instance. Not too difficult. Hope you saw all the pulls. I think it's good to watch videos of me because I'm bad, so you can see all the stuff that happens when you got a bad tank. Some of these guys are pros, and you watch them do the instants. Everything goes perfect. If you have any more questions, check out Serious Gaming on YouTube. Costein's got a ton of great content. That's where I got most of this ideas for this, as far as creating a guide. I want to kind of create the anti-Costein guide where he's good and I'm not, so I can show new tanks what to expect when they get to Outlands. If you have any questions, comments or questions below. And if you want, even if you have questions about the Karazhan server that Atlantis has, ask them below. I'll answer them. Also, do play Classic on the Benediction server. I'm Horde on Classic Benediction. So if you're looking for a guild or anything like that, hit me up as well. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the content. Hope you enjoyed the commentary style as opposed to just a straight up guide. And we will try and get some more content out shortly.